Hey guys, it's me again. Sorry about that, we didn't have any episodes, but today we will have about 3. And this is just gonna talk about the stuff what we were just talk about last time, like how many religion in here, like the Reformed Christian, Jehovah's Witnesses and all the other stuff. Why Kelowna is the most religious place? Like what does it make people, like to go to churches and there is like almost like there's like tons of them just go to church and then do their thing, like worship God in different ways. And today I'm just gonna let you Joy to talk about why Kelowna is the most religious city in BC. So let's see what she just wants to talk about. Okay.
Well, I think the biggest reason that we have many active churches here in Kelowna is because we are the largest retirement community in Canada. So people come here with money after they've accumulated it during their lifetime to retire, to enjoy the warm weather and the good climate and mild climate. And they also bring their beliefs with them and their culture, if you will. And so they have time and money and opportunity. And because they're near the end of their lives, people think about religious issues like what happens to us when we die? Is there a life after death? And so it seems quite logical that in a retirement community with people past age 65 that they are going to think about religious subjects.
I see.
And I think that's what we see here.
But can you give more details about that?
Well, for example, most of the churches, Protestant churches, are kind of offshoots of the Catholic religion, and they have brought with them the ideas and the customs, etc., of the Catholic Church. They just basically changed their name. But there are others who have, because of their study of the Bible, have some very different ideas. Like Seventh-day Adventists are one example. Now, they believe that Saturday is the Sabbath day, and they keep that. They also believe in studying the Bible, and they don't go to war on Saturday. They will go to war, but not on Saturday. They won't kill anyone on Saturday. Yeah, but at least they're practicing what they believe, and they are good contributors to the community. One of my aunts was a Seventh-day Adventist, and in the very early beginnings of Jehovah's Witnesses, it was actually the Seventh-day Adventists that got them interested in studying the Bible. So we owe, as witnesses, we owe quite a bit to the Seventh-day Adventist Church for their studious approach to studying the Bible, as well as practicing what they believe.
I see. So that just gives an answer what I was looking for, but I still don't know something, that what is the difference between like Roman Catholic and the Reformed Christians, the Pentecostals and all those, like what is it makes them to separate them?
Well, that's a very interesting question, because what a church believes as its legitimate doctrine is one thing, but what an individual believes within a church is quite another thing. So, while some people sorry, that's kind of distracting.
That's alright. So we were talk about the difference of the religion, like what is make them different, and why is people are like making up more churches, like some differences and stuff. That's what I was just curious about.
Well, in America, there's basically three primary religions. I mean, you do have Catholics, but that's coming from Italy. So when you come into America and the New World, and right now you have primarily, I think it's Adventists, I just forget, Adventists.
Mm-hmm.
Jehovah's Witnesses is one of the new religions, and
what is the oldest one in Kelowna?
the oldest one?
Yeah, the oldest.
Well, I don't know, but we have to go back to the oldest religion in our modern era as being the Roman Catholic Church, because Emperor Constantine consolidated an empire with that in the 1st century, or about the 4th century. And, you know, that's where many arguments and fights arise, because people say, who is the first religion, or the oldest religion, or the true religion? Okay? So you have to go to the Bible to find out which religion is following what is taught in the Bible. And of course, even in the Bible, what was revealed at first was revealed when the Jews were released from Egypt. And that's when Moses began to write the Bible down. Mm-hmm. And so then, when Jesus Christ came, a new congregation was established that rejected the Jewish religion, and the name Christian was given by divine providence. But the term Christian covers a world of religions now, so it doesn't have much meaning to say that one is a Christian, because there is so much diversity amongst Christians. So in 1935, the group of Bible students that became known as Jehovah's Witnesses took on that name, Jehovah's Witnesses, in 1935, to identify themselves as being distinctly different from others who called themselves Christians. So as to why, say, you asked the question, why do Pentecostals dislike Jehovah's Witnesses? Yes, I can't answer for them, but I can say that there is dislike and contempt amongst the religions in general for the name Jehovah.
And also, like, that they believe in the Trinity as well.
Well, that's true. Jehovah's Witnesses do not believe in the Trinity. Yeah, that's true.
That is just very strange for me, because that's how at the
Well,
Teen Challenge, that's how
the teaching of the Trinity does not exist in the Bible, and I have had many opportunities to discuss this with many, many people, and if you're willing to open your Bible, it's very simple. There is one God. That's what Jesus taught. Jesus was a Jew, and he worshipped only one God, Jehovah. So,
but the
Trinity was not developed until the 4th century under a creed called the Athanasian Creed. And that was done when Emperor Constantine became a Christian. Uh-huh. That's when they formed the belief that God the Father is one with God the Son and God the Holy Spirit.
Yeah, that's the point.
But that was only in the 4th century. That was not when Jesus was on the earth. Jesus was not a Trinitarian.
Huh.
Yeah. So just think about this, Michael. John 3:16 is a very famous, well-known scripture. God so loved the world
that he gave his only begotten Son, whoever believes in him shall not perish but have.
Okay, but think of the Trinity. If Jesus is God, and Jesus sacrificed his life on behalf of mankind, that would mean that God would have had to have died. So who would have brought him back to life?
Yeah, that's a good question, yes.
Right. So it was not God who died on the cross or the stake at Calvary. It was Jesus, the Son of God. And Jesus sacrificed...
What part of God?
No. They were separate individuals. It was Jesus who sacrificed his right to live on a perfect earth the way God made it for Adam. Adam sinned, and so really the human family is condemned to die. So Jesus Christ offered up his life, a perfect human life, to equal that of what was lost in Adam, and to buy back the hope that people could live on earth according to God's purpose.
Right.
And if Jesus was God, and God sacrificed himself, there would be no one to resurrect him.
Yeah, I had those questions in me, even when I saw the movie, like... But the question is still, like, why does a teen challenge makes things different? Why does the different religion makes different?
Well, to talk about teen challenge, like there are many, many religions who, out of a genuine desire to get people interested in the church, will give the people something like food. They will
But
feed
it's all
people.
about money, like they just...
Not all about money. Some of it is about good charity and good works. Okay, genuinely, some of it is because they desire to feed the poor. So the problem is if you have people change their religion because they're hungry, when you run out of food, they're going to change their religion to get food from somewhere else. So they're called rice Christians. They only come and convert to Christianity for the food. Okay, that's the term we use in English. We call them rice Christians. So the thing is, if you take the story of Abraham, even God himself said, it wasn't until Abraham was willing to offer up his son Isaac, who was 40 years old at the time, that God then said to Abraham, now I know you are obedient because you are willing to do this thing.
Right.
So Abraham had to be tested out to know if he loved God. That is shown over a long period of time, not just by one or two simple acts. I mean, you go back to the story of Adam and Eve. The first two brothers, what did they do? They committed murder.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
loving one another amongst our own family is not an easy thing to do. You know, and God did create out of love, but we are so imperfect and sinful that, you know, we would just die, and the human race would just die out if it wasn't for what God did in sending forth his Son, Jesus Christ, to save humanity. It's called a propitiatory sacrifice. It's in one of the books of the Bible. I'd have to look it up. But propitiatory is a big word for complete covering. So complete covering of what both Adam and Eve lost when they sinned against God. That's what Jesus Christ, he didn't earn it, but he was faithful until death. So he had it as a reward, and he sacrificed that right to live here on earth so that we could have the hope of living here on earth forever.
I see. Well, thank you so much, and that's really good to know as well, things like this, like if you get involved into the Bible. But all I just
Well, we have to be open-minded, you know.
Yes.
We have to
Yeah.
be willing to listen to what another person says and be willing to say something ourselves without going to war over it. Because religion has led to many disgusting wars.
Yes.
So we know from all cultures of the world that religion has been the source of war.
Yes. And was it always like this in Kelowna? Like this many people that were, you know, like
Well,
religious?
I've lived here for 35 years, and I think, like, when we came here, there really was no industry at all. It was pretty well just the agricultural fruit industry. Now, it's changed a little bit, but we still don't really have a primary industry. We have tourism and some agriculture.
Yes.
But so I think, you know, people, if they want to survive here, they have to have a way of making their own money or bringing their own money. It's very hard to get employment. So I think very clearly it's a retirement community for sure. And people do bring their ideas with them and their money, and they practice their beliefs. Like I said, and when people get to end of life stage, they are thinking about things like, what happens when I die? Is there life after death? Do I have a soul? Is the soul immortal? You know, is there a resurrection? Do you just get resurrected to heaven, or is there hope for living on earth? Will I see the person I was married to before? All of these questions are things that Jesus touched on in his Sermon on the Mount.
Right.
And people do ask them, and we ask them. And I think what we're seeing in Kelowna as a community is just a reflection of what people are thinking about when they get to that age in their life. When they are facing death and sickness and illness and all of those things.
I see. You were talking about industry as well. Like, I wonder, like, do you know a lot about industry? Because if you do, then we can do that on the following episode.
Well, we can certainly
like
talk about what's
back
here.
and today.
Yeah, there's lots that we can talk about.
Okay.
No problem.
Well, thanks for watching episode 3 with us, and we will come back after the commercial and we'll continue the industry of Kelowna, like the challenges, like how it became so good, like so rich in this place.
Okay, let's have a picture of you. Yeah, okay. That's what, it's a video. Well, I guess you could. It's just a video. Cute. Cute. Yeah. Good moves. Good moves. Thank you.
Yes.
I already know which mixer we can't buy you. There's sound mixers. They're special recording devices.
The following program contains education and knowledge, and it's recommended for everyone.
Yeah, we are back on KC1, and we will talk about today on Kelowna today that what are the industries in Kelowna, like what is it make them so rich, what are they doing, like what do they product, things like that. And Joy Carp's gonna talk about today as well, as much as she knows about the industry of Kelowna and like the management and how they become and things like this. So I'll let them the word for her to speak. So I'm wondering, like the industry about back, like in the 70s or the 1980s, like like when you moved here, like how was then and what is it compared to today?
Well, when we came, it was pretty well a sleepy valley, especially in the winter. Not much for people to do. And primarily we have agriculture, so the fruit industry. There is some forestry here because the whole province of British Columbia, that really is our biggest industry. We also have some development of like electronics. We have the airport, okay, and we
Yeah,
also
that's
have
a
the
big
university.
industry, yes.
The university has really just come here. In the last 5 years, UBC took over Okanagan College, and so UBC is a big producer of money because they're training people to do various jobs. So there are opportunities here now that there wasn't 35 years ago. That's for sure.
But it's changed until today, like back then, like you said, it was really poor, but today, like after 35 years, like we are almost in 2015, it's only a month and a half away, and then it's just much different. Like I see more places, like the industry had grown, matured, and so much that we see, like there are so many supermarkets, there are so many industries, shops, shopping centers, and things like that. And I'm just curious about that, like what is it to make them to be so famous, or how did they get more mature? Like, what is it took for them?
Well, I think the population has grown. More people have come.
Yeah, because we have.
And having been in real estate for a number of years, people that come here with money, they tend to buy properties. And so that's contributed to the growth. But one thing that's very unique about Kelowna is it's extremely spread out. We sort of follow the lake. And so in terms of real estate, like in a place like Vancouver where I grew up, a realtor could have one side of the mountain and sort of work it because there was enough people there. They could make their livelihood out of that small area. But here, you can't. You have to work the whole valley in real estate.
Wow. Yeah, it's really, really
So it's
amazing.
a different community, and water has become an issue here because we're very arid. And so the new developments, housing developments, have had to prove to City Hall and the provincial government that they can produce enough water to sustain these communities that they're building. So although we're a beautiful valley,
Yes.
water is always an issue.
Mm-hmm. So, how long do you think it took, like, for Kelowna to grow bigger? Like, between, like, let's say 1994 and 2014, like, let's just see the 20 year, like, is it changed a lot then, or was it
Oh, yeah.
already before?
When we came, where Orchard Park was,
Yes?
there was nothing there.
Ah, so
So
it's
you
a
would
really
go-
new building.
Yeah, you would, at Highway 33 there was development up there, and up the highway to about Orchard Park, but there was nothing in between. So
I see.
it's grown tremendously. Just looking at the highway coming into town, it's changed a lot.
But also, I
Well, we
want
have
to-
lots of students that come here, even international students, for example, from Japan and Korea and various places in the world because of UBC. UBC is one of the most prestigious universities in the world.
Wow.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's a really huge university.
Yeah.
And
And we can go there and film too, because I know the library and the grounds, and it's grown a lot. UBC, the student housing, they have babysitting, they have all kinds of stuff up there.
yeah, it's a really great opportunity, you know, to get to know more about Kelowna, like more details, more specific ideas, like how can we make it more better as well, like just ideas to give other people that they can come up with something better as well. And that's what we are trying to do in this new show, to show others that are maybe watching in Kelowna, or maybe they are watching in other cities or other lands, that of course the ones that know and speak English, like Canadian English, and that just makes things to be better. And you know, this is what I actually want for my land, for Hungary, because they are just they are really poor. I mean,
Yeah, right.
literally, and the industry there is just dying. Like, they don't have really good plans. They can't get things together well.
Well, the worldwide economy is connected. That's part of the problem.
Yes,
And you can really see it by what was going on there in the Ukraine and how it affected that part of the world. So, I mean, yeah, the globe is very small now because of the World Wide Web and other factors.
yes. So, like, comparing to other lands, like, let's see, Hungary or Russia or other places, to Canada, it's like heaven and earth almost. Because Europe, it's not really good financially like our country, Canada.
Yeah, I was in Ireland for a while, and they said there that once the euro came in, instead of the sterling silver, the pound, the English pound, once the euro came in, that they really felt it changed the marketplace and everything. You know, they had civil war for a long time in Ireland,
Right.
but they are also very poor, really. The majority of the people left.
I see. And also, not just that, but the criminals and things. That makes things worse because they make damages.
Well, it does.
and
And
things.
the thing is, if you live in a nice environment like Kelowna, California, Florida, any of
Yes.
those places, the criminals want to live there too. So we do have that element here. In fact, I think maybe 3 or 4 years ago, we had a shootout in Alberta, and I think there was 2 police officers killed, and they were using high-powered weapons, and it was over drugs, and also weapons, which are brought up along the California coast. They enter Canada, and they come through on trucks and various things. So yeah.
But the other question is, the criminals can destroy the industry as well, like some of it.
Yeah.
As they show like what they do in Kelowna. And I just wonder, like, do you think is there a threat for that in Kelowna?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Because talk about the criminals, like one thing is what I really don't like, that people steal the shopping carts from the shopping centers, and that's really bad for the industry because they lose lots of money. And especially when they steal them, they rip them apart, they broke the chain off and things like that. It's just so agitating and frustrating that I don't know what would be the best word for it, so I don't hurt anyone.
And that's a small thing. That's a small thing, but it does tell you something about people's attitude. Okay? And basically, people don't want to have to pay taxes. They are greedy.
But that's not the right thing. I mean, like, there is so many other choices. Like they should get, you know, like help from others, but not just go to stores, steal the shopping carts, rip them apart, and that's how they earn money. It's just, you know, I don't like that, because then if you wanna help them to push shopping carts back for them, you know, like if you see them, and if the cops catching you, and then they say, what are you doing? And then you can't even actually answer, like, I'm just trying to take it back to the store, because then they might find a person, or ask their ID or things like that. So it's really, really bad.
Well, basically, organized crime, it works like a schoolyard bully. And we do have organized crime here. It's not gypsies.
Yes, but we have other kind of people that I'm not gonna say like the kinds, because I don't wanna hurt any humankind, and that wouldn't be good for our show if others watching. So all I'm just saying that the things should be looking better, and if there would be less threats in Kelowna, then it just would help our industry better. So what do you think about that?
Well,
what can we do to stop that?
Well, unfortunately, that brings us into the political arena. And that's where people have to get involved in politics if they're going to change some things. And your beliefs are directly affected by that, because politics is all about people.
Right. And you know, it's just makes really bad for everyone. Not just for us, but the ones that are trying to get people to be, you know, like more helpful. Because they can't help themselves. They don't have a trust.
Exactly. Yeah.
What I'm just saying is people should not do these kind of things.
Yeah.
Even like if we go back about the Bible, even God said you must not steal, right?
Yeah.
You must not what should I say, like not damage or like doesn't don't take any of your flocks of your husband of your
Yeah. But then when you go back to religion, you're opening up something that affects all of us, okay?
Yes.
So Jesus, in the Lord's Prayer, the Our Father prayer, when he taught us to pray, he said, how does it go? Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Just stop right there. Thy kingdom come. What is that? It's actually a government. That's what Jesus taught us to pray for, is a government by Christ Jesus. Because when it comes down to it, all these issues are political issues.
Yes.
So you see, as Jehovah's Witnesses, we are also neutral when it comes to politics, because we believe that God's kingdom is the only thing that will resolve these problems.
Yes. So if you think that this video was helpful, that if how should I put the word, but you know what I mean, to get the...
To promote one to think.
Exactly, yes, thank you. To promote one thing after another, then I think if you watch this show, then this should be helpful for you all, and that gives you an idea as well, like how can we get different lands and countries to be like, you know, like something different, because you can't do against the criminals because they just kill you like there's
That's
nothing.
That's right.
But there is some
That's exactly
else that we can help with that.
Yeah.
And that's what we try to find out today. Like, not to use, you know, like the police, but, you know, like just to hope like there's not gonna be worse. Because that's what makes the whole land to be, what's the word, demolished? Or just collapse? Or
Well, yeah, something like that. Of course
Yeah.
it can.
So thanks for watching, things like that. So if you stay with us on the following episode, we will continue. Take care for now.